Hello! How are you doing today, my good friends? It's Friday, and that means it is time for Muppin Sewing Emporium. How are you doing this fantastic Friday evening? It is very lovely outside, finally, here in beautiful downtown Paducah, Kentucky. We are live to you through the power of the internet. And today, my good friends, how are you? Hopefully, you can hear me. If you can't, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Yay! Martha! Haven't seen you in a age. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. Welcome back. How are you doing? It is a beautiful night here in Paducah, Kentucky. Western Kentucky is all abuzz with the fall weather that has finally arrived. Let me tell you, it's Friday. Joanne, welcome from Australia. How are you doing, Miss? And Martha, yes. I'm so glad you're doing well. We have had a very busy, crazy week. Lots going on, and then weirdly, I don't know, is it it's just I don't know. And I have to tell you that when I put my blush on today, I don't put it on under all these lights. And it's looking a little orange under these lights today. Yeah. Martha, you should have come by when you were in Kentucky last week for your daughter's wedding. Yes, hooray for autumn. Now, Joanne, it is the opposite for you. Is it like springtime finally down in Australia? I think that's how it works. So yeah, Martha, Louisville's a very nice town. My friends Mary and Jerry, they definitely are here on the Friday night videos a lot, and they also live in Louisville. So yes, Louisville's only 3 hours from here. So Joanne says, yes, that is how it works. It is in reverse. So springtime by you. And oh, Mary is here. Hello, Mary. Mary to us live from Louisville, Kentucky. So yeah. Joanne says she wants to visit us one day in Paducah. It is a bucket list item. And let me tell you, it is a bucket list item here. We are Quilt City, USA. And that is a trademark even owned for the city of Paducah. So yes, apparently your summer starts about December 1st. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. Like your Christmas time is always in like the heat of summer. That would be very strange for me, being a lifelong Northern Hemisphere person. I don't know how I would be able, I don't know if I could cope. I do remember at one point, my mother, she moved to San Francisco, and she said, so the San Francisco, the kids didn't have any concept of winter or snow or anything like that. So yeah, Charlotte is offering up her home. So Joanne, you need to come down here and check it out. And it is quilt heaven here, and quilt week in particular for the big show is insane. It's so great. I highly recommend it for anyone who is a quilter. So yeah, never snow in Australia. but very hot at Christmas. I don't know if I could deal. I don't, I mean, here, I agree with Mary. Christmas in Kentucky's too warm. We are both from the Chicago area. Wow, that really did come out very Chicago. Chicago. Uh, it is too warm. But we are the only ones who know how to drive in the snow. So you kind of take the good with the bad there, Mary. Um, and Joanne, you'll do it within the next 5 years. I would love to see you do that. That would be amazing and very cool. I really think that would be awesome. Paducah here, and I say this all the time, is different than like a Hamilton, Missouri, where Missouri Star is. And we are a small town. We are in like a historic area. And what it is we are all independent sewing businesses, where when you go to Hamilton, it's all stores owned by Missouri Star. So while that gives a whole different flavor, it's more of a company town than we are, where we are all independent shop owners out here doing our thing. So yes, and Mary, 100%, my accent betrays me. Today we had a couple in from Chicago, and they were actually from our little suburb division area. So we had a nice long conversation about where we were from and everything. And yes, I felt like the more I talked to them, the more the Chicago came out. So I'm having that sort of nostalgic Chicago accent thing going on today. So I'm just enjoying all of that. So yay, Krista, thank you. I love my package that arrived with my wonderful t-shirt. Thank you so much. Yes, my good friends, all of our t-shirts, well, most of our t-shirts have been restocked. We have Not Your Grandmother's Quilter, we have the Tulle Skulls, and we have EPP. Are you down with EPP? Yeah, you know me. All three of those shirts are currently in stock, and they are on our website. So where is that? Well, funny you should ask. We will throw that little crawler up here, and we will shop.muppin.com is our website. That is where you can always find our lovely items. So I have some cool stuff to show you tonight, and this is stuff that is in the shop, available in the shop. And if you want any of these, we don't put these online because they're very difficult because they're all different, right? Every vintage thing is always a different, like, you just never know. Like, they're all different. They could be almost the exact same vintage thing, and they're all different. So tonight, if you want any of these, you just need to say so in the comments, and I will send you an invoice, and we'll do it that way, because this way it's just easier. Okay, so I gotta show you though this thing that I got, because it's just, this thing is massive. All right, now I just got this, so this is the kind of thing, like, I go to antique stores and I'm like, is that a giant round flower frog that is just like 2 giant pieces of glass with holes in them, and they're like, this is how you would do it. You put it in your big, like your bowl vase, and you put these glass things in it. But look at how I use them. Okay, so we could put in here, like, well, my this is called Nerd Wax. This is what keeps my glasses on my face. You could put anything in here. You could put your scissors, right? You could do this, okay, like that. And it's like your little tool heaven. And then I found another flower frog that had a giant dome, and I put that in there, and see, it like holds all my pens and all this stuff. So we have been selling flower frogs. Oh no! Aya! Okay. This is not the first time this has happened. And I have to tell you, I'm getting pretty tired of these technical gremlins. Shoot. Yeah, okay, give me a second here. Let me turn the camera off and back on, because it's always something. It is literally a problem with all of this. So yeah, that's good. I'm glad you can see me. So that's partially working. That part's good. Okay, so we've got me. All right. It's just too funny. You can see me talking about it, but you can't see the thing. Can't see the thing. Okay, so we're going to restart the camera. There we go. Now let's see if that worked. I won't know though until it catches up with the stream. So it's always something. These are the technical gremlins that always seem to get me every time I go live. So, you know, there's that. All right, let's see if that worked. That did work. Okay. Yay! Okay, I could describe it through, yes, interpretive dance. Yeah, Jerry, I don't know if that would necessarily be a good thing. Okay, so this is the world's largest flower frog that I have ever seen. I came across this and I had to have it. And so what this is in pieces. Okay, and what you would do is you would stick this into like almost like a shallow vase, you know, and you would put this in there, and then you would stick your flowers into the little sections. And so, you know, they still sell these. I don't think they're always made of glass, but they do sell flower frogs still. But a lot of times what they do is they use the like that green spongy foam stuff, and they put that in the bottom of their vase. But look at this, like you could keep all your tools at hand. Okay. And then I found another flower frog that had a giant dome, and that I put there in the center. So that's kind of how I've been using these in the store, and or not just in the store, but in my sewing room, right? I use these everywhere. So this one is the new one, the glass. But so I pick up these little doodads everywhere. And so we've been carrying flower frogs in the shop. And can we talk about these? All right, so first of all, they're in this basket. There's all kinds of goodies in this basket. Look at all this stuff. Okay, so in here, we've got flower frogs. Let me get them all out. Now, a guy at one of the places around here, the antique stores, he told me that these are selling fast to marble collectors. Apparently, people put their marbles in case you don't lose your marbles. So these are the ones that I have in the shop currently. I will tell you, I have a lot of these. My great aunt, she collected them. So a lot of them you'll see they have little labels on the bottom here. That means that my great aunt collected this and had it written up in her, so she had a typed up note card for each and every one of these. And so a lot of them that have the numbers on them, like this one's gone, but it had a number on it. They had, she had a typed up card for it. She was that kind of a collector. So these are flower frogs, and there's a bunch of different types and manufacturers. Some of them have little feet, and some of them, they don't. And they'll have a larger center. So a lot of times when you find these, they discuss how many holes they have, right? So this is what they call a 9-hole. I believe this is is this an 11 hole or a 13? This is an 11 hole. And then there are also 13 holes. They've got all kinds of different types. Okay. If you want any of these, I guess we'll say it's A, B, C, D. Okay. So A, B, C, D. If you want any of these, just type out a number. As you can see, we sell them for 15. So 9 times out of 10, what I do is I take a piece of cork or felt, and the kind that has the sticky backing, and I stick it to the back. So so then you put that down there, and then you put your stuff in it. And that's to keep your table from getting scratched, if you put your scissors in there. Okay. Cause you can really, if you are a scissor person, you can stick a lot of scissors in these. And so if you're looking for a cool way to display scissors and things like that, these are really, really awesome. So Charlotte, yeah, my great aunt was this incredible collector. And I have to say, she wasn't my great aunt. She was my ex-husband's great aunt. Yeah. So she was I was married to that guy for a really long time. So she's technically my great aunt now. I kept her and got rid of the husband. So these are, and I asked if anybody wanted these back. They said no. And so what do you do with 100 flower frogs? You start redistributing them out into the world. So there's a lot of really cool ones. This one here is also a 9-hole, but look at the difference between the two, right? So flower frogs are, to me, a really, really handy vintage sewing accessory, because you can totally load these up with all kinds of, and even though this one looks like it's not very thick, you can see here it's got little feet. I mean, there's only so many flowers that you can own before you own a florist shop, right? Like that to me is a lot. So I like to put, all my little scissors in here, all my little doodads, you know, um, I've got all kinds of goodies that I just stick in there. And then, I keep one in here at my regular desk, at my sewing desk. I have them all over. They're really super handy. So so apparently the whole thing came down. So this would be let's do this. Okay, so as you can imagine, this is just the par for the course for me today. It's just gonna be one of these days. I'm gonna tighten this back up and see if I can. Just, oh goodness. What does everyone know what a flower frog is? I don't think so. A flower frog is essentially a it's a flower stem holder upper. I mean, is that what it is? Yeah, honestly, it's like we want to make sure no one threw up. It's always something, I swear. All right, so there we go. Now we're back. Yeah, I'm always technical issues because it's like, but this one wasn't technical. It was more of a mechanical issue because the whole thing decided to like just jump off the table. Because I have all of this on a boom arm, and the boom arm decided to yeet itself, as the kids say. Anyway, right. So you would put this in the bottom of your vase, your flower, whatever container you have for your flowers, fill it with water, and then these are to help the stems stand upright. So for any kind of flower that has like weak stems, this is perfect. And it keeps them sort of bunched up. And these are super like, I mean, I've had more of a hard time finding them now than before. And I asked a guy in a antique shop what he thought the reason was, and he told me that it's the marble collectors who use these to put their prize marbles on to collect their marbles. So when you're arranging flowers, it keeps them spaced out. It does. And it does that for your quilt tools as well. So it's a neat vintage thing. We do carry them. We have them in our store. So again, A, B, C, D. If you want any of them, just put the number in the comments, and we'll figure it out. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so these are the ones that I currently have out on the shelves. So if you like these, you can come on in, take a look at them. I'm gonna move them all. And like I said, like every once in a while, I come across like a real stunner. They do come in other colors. So occasionally I do have a couple iridescent ones. I don't think they're out. No, they were on the old set. And I don't think the old set decorations made it to the new set yet. They're probably in storage, which I should look into. But anyway, I love them, and I think they're really great. Just, I always say, put something on the bottom so that if you put scissors in there, you're not damaging your table. And it also gives us a cushiony thing for the scissor tips. so that you don't ruin them. So there's that. But these are great. So flower frogs, glass flower frogs. Now they do make metal ones and they make ceramic ones too. But I don't use those nearly as much. So here's another fun little object, and it is a pin cushion that is made out of, well, a spoon. And I love this little guy. And I even thought, wouldn't it be fun if you just got a pair of like pliers or something and twisted this so that it was like almost like a round handle. Then you could almost wear it on a brooch or something like that. Anyway, these are our silver spoon like pin cushion kits. And we so I saw one of these in a quilt show. I'm gonna say, how long ago was it? It has to be I has to be like 10 years or more. And I saw the sample, fell in love with it, was like, I've got to have that. And so when I opened the store, I reached out to the company and I was like, hey, I really want to carry your kits. And they're like, we don't carry them anymore, or we don't have them anymore. And I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Like, whoa. What do you mean you don't carry these anymore? And they were like, we can't find the spoons to put into the kits. And I was like, I got hundreds of spoons. Okay. And these are not my great aunt's spoons. Okay. So before you go, you're just getting rid of all your great aunt's stuff. No. I have her so she was a collector. She collected things and I inherited all her collections. So I have collections of collections. Anyway, back to the spoons. So what they said was, we can sell you the pattern, but we don't have the stuff to make kits anymore. I said, great. I got the stuff to make the kits. I just need the patterns, right? Because this is like, I'm not going to rip off their pattern. This is their pattern. So anyway, that's what we've got. We've got these kits for making spoon pin cushions. Now, they come with the spoon, some fabric, a little mini doily, which fits, behind the spoon like that. Directions. And if you wanted to do the embroidery of the alphabet, like you could put your own initial on there, it comes with the full set of initials, right? So you could do your alphabet. And then you just, find some pretty pins and stick them in there. And you have, so if you're like a pin cushion person, like you're a pin cushion, like fanatic, I love this kit. So we have these in the store. I'm not sure if we have these on the website. That's the thing. A lot of times I don't have these in the website, but I have them in the store because I may not have very many, but this one I know I have. And so if you want one of these, again, they're $25. Drop it in the comments and I will reach out to you and we will figure it out. Or if you're coming to the store anytime soon, you can come into the store and you can check it out. Okay. So, this one is another one that I absolutely like. So if it's vintage, it's using up my stuff. And I have to say, I have so much vintage stuff. Yeah, so it just goes on and on and on. All right, so we have some other things in here. These are also something that we've been putting in the store, and I think you got one of these, Charlotte, last time you were in the shop. They are salt cellars, and we have created a little fabric cushion for the top. Now, we do sell a pattern for doing textured tops. So if you wanted to do one with pleats or gathers or all the other stuff, we have a pattern for that. And we also sell that as a kit with a random salt cellar in it. So we do have that in the shop. These are just, you know, this is another collection, okay? We have so many, okay? We have so many collection of collections. And like a lot of them are here. Like here's just the milk glass ones, okay? Like, I am not kidding when I say I own more stuff from other people. So like here's a regular salt cellar, right? And then here's one that's milk glass. Now, any of my friends know I'm a milk glass junkie. So I wouldn't, like, the milk glass ones I'm going to keep, right? Because I love milk glass. But these other ones, like, look at that one. Ugh, so great. And I have a lot of cool stuff like this, right? I have boxes and boxes of so many of these. And so yay, it's right there with one of my needles. Thank you. I do appreciate that. So I've just been like, as I find time, which, you know, is like never, I just whip up a little pincushion and you know, set it aside, because gosh only knows when I will have time. But here are the ones that we have in the shop right now. Okay, so the other thing is we have tons of stuff like this for our punch cup pincushion pattern. So these are probably dessert bowls. I don't think these are punch cups because they have no handles. So they're probably more of a dessert bowl than they are like a punch cup. But as you know, I do have a pattern on our in our shop. And let me just pull it up, because I know this is on the website. It's under Muppin brand products, because it is one of the Muppin brand products. And so this is the pattern for the punch cup pincushion. So let me drag this screen share out. And let me drop that into, boom. Okay, hide that. That is a terrible, there we go. Okay, so punch cup pincushion. And so, so you can get the pattern, right? But what we were doing was we had offered it as a kit. These kits are going to be coming back very soon, and these are the pincushion punch cups that you'll be able to get, even though they're not punch cups. They're just these glass bowls. So what we are planning to do is to kit the punch cup So you get the pattern, you'll get the tool, and you'll get the vintage punch cup. Well, in this case, dessert bowl. And I have made these with all kinds of glass. You can make them out of teacups. You can do them with all kinds of things. But this pattern, super versatile, makes beautiful textured topped pin cushions. Let's pull up that. Can I click that? No, I guess I can't. But it makes beautiful pin cushions, and I just love that pattern because we all have our favorite vintage dish thing, and we always say that would be so cute as a pin cushion. So here you go. That's what we have these for. And so we've got these in the shop as well. What else is in this box? Nothing. Okay. This was like I took the, so this is it's a bag pattern called the midi bag, and it is currently both on our website and in our store. What you do is you cut your 2.5-inch squares and you fuse them to the interfacing, and then you flip and sew, and that makes this so quick and easy to go together. And then I put leather handles on it because I wanted it to be more like a purse. Anyway, I just love this bag. So I grabbed this bag from the store off the counter and like went around the store and shopped, put all this stuff for tonight's video in here. But this is the midi bag, and we have a bunch of the Quilt Smart bags. There's one more salt cellar in here. I just love this stuff. It's just cute. Like these are I don't know how many salt cellars. I just have so many. They need to go live with you is what I'm thinking. So there's that. All right, so we're gonna just double this one here and see if we can make sure that my screen is still working. All right. Now today we had someone come in and she said something really funny, and I hadn't thought about it like that before, but it made me laugh. So if you remember, we did a whole video on these. They were for I'm trying to think, I think it was Heirloom Afternoon. So it was an episode of Heirloom Afternoon, and it was all about like how to make the pincushion bottom if you find the random lady, the random head of the pincushion doll. So once again, great aunt, so many of these, but these are all very, very old. These are like probably 100 years old. So, and the funny thing is, this is why I got to bring these out, because you just kind of need to see it. And then I'll bring out the two little ones. This is another thing. I have so many of these, but we'll open these up so you can see them, because they're entertaining as heck. So a lot of these, you're like, wow, they look really similar, but they're not exactly the same. One is obviously smaller, and you can see in here, made in Japan, right? This one also made in Japan. So, but they're from like easily the 1920s. Okay, so these are, they are very, very old. She is, right? She's very, very, she's very fancy. And she's the only one I've ever found with legs. So everybody's like, where are their legs? They don't come with legs. This typically. They just come like this. Okay, so here's you can see like the faces are, you know, kind of nutty. Was this an auntie collection? Yes. Yeah, great aunt collected these. So 2 of these look really, really similar. They're about the same size. This one, they're both stamped made in Japan. They're both bisque porcelain. So poor legless ladies. Now the thing is they have legs. They're just under the dress. Okay, so they would just be like just the top here without the legs. And you know, you would just, it's like the toilet paper doll, right? You just assume that the toilet paper doll has legs, you know, underneath all of that big poofy dress. Okay, so these are all from Japan. This one is made in Germany. Okay, and I mean, you can see the difference. One is just in the paint application, but so earlier today we had a lady in the store, and of course she was like kind of fawning over all of these, and she said she looks like she's giving herself a breast exam, and now I can't unsee that. And so I almost wish she didn't tell me that because that's kind of all I see now. Anyway, so these ladies are all here to remind you to take care of yourselves. Now there are these 2. They're the same, or essentially the same. But the thing is they don't come from the same collection, right? So a lot of times, my great aunt would have picked one up, but then found a second one, right? So that's how she ended up with all of these that looked the same. So sometimes these were not necessarily attached to a pincushion. They could have been part of what was called a boudoir set. Okay, and so a boudoir set would be a pincushion. Okay, would have been a whisk brush, and so she would have had a brush bottom. It would have been like a straw brush, and that was the kind of brush that you would use to like brush off, like, you know, dirt, dust, pet hair, whatever you had on your clothes. It was to brush your clothes off. Okay, so they would have these like boudoir brushes, and they would have had a brush bottom, and this was to sew and essentially this was then the handle. And so a lot of times they were sold as those kinds of sets. All of the ones in our collection, I have since collected ones with actual bottoms. They will either have a pincushion bottom or a brush bottom. So I have personally collected these as well. I have had plenty of people send me some. And I'll show you 1 or 2 from my personal collection here. I have across the room. I'll just get up and get it. So these are part of my personal collection. Anyway, all of these individually are 30, and the smalls are 20. And these are from Germany. These are stamped Germany, the little ones. And my understanding is that the German ones are worth more, but we do it by size here. okay? The bigger the doll, the more expensive she is. The more porcelain she requires, you know. So these are the ones that we have. They the self-exam ladies. This, however, this is my if I can get it open. Okay. So here's one that's my collection. And here's one that a follower of mine just sent me. Isn't she beautiful? So look at they do come with all kinds of different in different styles. The ones with their arms with what are called arms away, okay? So like if their arms are away from the body, they typically had more chance of being broken. And so a lot of those are worth more because they were more likely to have been broken over time. So they have a value just because they lasted so long. But also, this one is considered a nude. And what would have happened is she would have come with like a ribbon or something around her, and that would have flowed into the dress. So if you find a naked lady, that's what is happening there. Then there are ones that are definitely like very country style, but they have their hands away. And so again, you're looking to see if any of them are broken or anything like that. And then definitely can see the age, like on this one, which is more of a milkmaid or a child. But her arms are away. And I think I have another nude in here, but here's another. These are pretty old. These are all over 100 years old. So almost all of them, like these, they're going to be like, you can tell that's the 20s. So at this point, the 1920s era ones are all 100 years old. Here's another nude. So again, numbers. My great aunt, she was really, really good at that. I think she was prepping to write a bunch of books. So here's another, like this one's miniature, almost like the other miniatures. Like she's about the same size, right? But she's more bisque. So she's not, she doesn't have like the glaze on her. She's just weird. And so, yeah, like you can see some of the babies, they did them in different hair colors and things like that too. And then, so part of this too is these are very collectible. Like these are, there are people who collect pincushion dolls. Like there's no question that there is a collectible market for this. But these, like you can kind of tell this one was probably first because the details are really, really good. You can see like in the hands have a lot of like separation in the fingers. You can just see the details. The curls, you can see the details, and that's just not paint. These, like, it's all like washed out. There's not as much detail. So what happens is they would have done this one, and then the more they use that mold, the more and more they use that mold, these later ones weren't as crisp, or they were copied off of one of these. So they lose over time and in different situations you can tell that they've lost some detail. And that's the case with these as well. So you've got a lot of really good detail, crisp lines, but then you get to these ones from Japan and it's like her hand is almost just like a lump and her eyes are like just dots. Okay, so there's different levels of quality even amongst these two, right? Like even though they're both from Japan, like just the faces are painted differently. And some are good and some are bad. Now, I have to tell you, I have a very weird fascination with these ugly ones because sometimes they're so hideous, they're funny to me. Like I just find some of these like so stupidly funny. Like her face is just so silly. So like to me, some of them if they're cross-eyed, even better. Cuz there's some real winners out there. But I just love these. These ones are in my personal collection. This one with the vampire after feeding, she's just like, num 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 num. Like she's getting the rush of blood to her face. Yeah, it's so goofy. So these, and I plan to bring out more. Like I had these were definitely one of our heirloom boxes. So we did an heirloom box where you got the pincushion doll pattern, which is still something you can get on our website. We do offer the pincushion doll pattern also. Here is that one. And let me throw that one up. Okay, so this one, the pincushion doll pattern. So if you have your own head, you could just make the base. And what the pattern shows you is how to measure the base. Because you want to make an appropriate size base for your doll, right? So you don't want to make your doll like you don't want the base to make right like too big. Okay. So do I have a niece? Yes, I do. I have many and they're little, which is good. Which is why I'm okay with separating like some of these collections because remember they were not. She was like my aunt-in-law, my great aunt-in-law, and I asked, don't you have someone in your family that will want these? And they said no. So I wanted the size base on a tiny one just for the juxtaposition. I don't disagree with you. I think I have one. I know I have one over here. Hang on. So this is an example of what I'm talking about because when you would buy these, they're way out of proportion. Okay, so here's my lady, right? And she's what I did was I measured like on a human, okay, like your head is 1/6 of your body, 1/5 or 1/6. And so that was to help with the measurement of how big the base needs to be based on how tall the doll head is. So here's what I mean. Okay? Like clearly this lady is all scrunched up in inside her pincushion base. She is like her legs should be like this long. This is how long this bottom should be. Okay, so this is from Japan, and this is what they would be sold like. She Mary. Yes, she is. How did you know? She's got she's even looking up like, Lord, hear my prayer. Where are her feet then? So, like, but this is not the appropriate size dress. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't, and I mean, come on now. It's true though, right? So come on. So this is what they would be like. You'd buy them, they'd look like this. Now they did have ones that, like for this size doll, they were more appropriate and they were more statement pieces. They had this one from Japan, very plain, right? The earlier ones had ribbons and tassels and all sorts of really pretty, like making the bottom look like an actual dress. This one, because she was green, I made the dress to match, the clothing. So, but this is very it's got that. My husband really, he just every time I see something and it's like this pearlescent um iridescent stuff, I'm like, ooh, it's iridescent. And he's like, oh my God, like, please don't buy it because it's iridescent. He just does not like iridescence. And I love iridescence. So we have this conflict of iridescence going on in our home. But see, I think she's just a little too. Plus, I think she needs a dress that's more appropriate, right? So, like, notice here, like, even in just putting it on her in a longer state, like, it's just more appropriate. I don't know. You need a Scarlett O'Hara. I don't know if they made one that was at the time in 39 when the movie came out, but I do know that they have made, like, Avon came out with a series of doll heads that were they were famous ladies and like first ladies, and they had just those, and you can find those sometimes in antique stores or on online. So like, so these are just some of like the vintagey things we sell, because I put this on our Google page, right? Like, I'm like, we sell vintage and new, and that part is true. Like, we have a lot of brand new, beautiful material, beautiful tools, beautiful stuff. But I also honor all of this past with cool sewing related vintage things that I think people would like to have in their sewing room. Just saying. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys tonight. We have so upcoming is, of course, Halloween. It's right around the corner. Everyone is putting their costumes together. Anyone who is a costumer or a cosplayer is getting inundated with, will you make my costume requests? For me, the answer is no. I'm sorry. Down the street here is Creatures of Habit. They are a costume shop that does costume rentals and more. And I am sure that they would love to help you with your Halloween costume. But if you need any of these things that you saw tonight, send me a message. I will happily help you put that little order together for you, because some of these things are just so different. I can't just put doll, like you would want to see which one you're getting. I can't, so I these are just easier to sell in store. But again, if you must have her with her berry stained face, she's so weird. And then, like I said, today a customer was like, oh, she's like giving herself an exam. And I was like, oh my God, I will never not be able to see that now. And now, of course, when I look at all of them, like I'm kind of like thinking that, right? Like it's just so weird. Anyway, they're cool. Um, so that's what I've got for you tonight, my friends. I'm going to run off and get some work done. We are in the process of writing 3 patterns at once. Oh, did I tell you that our class has finally launched? It is a smocking class. So we have an online course that you can take, and we are going to be announcing all of that, shouting it from the rooftops starting next week. So get ready for that. Plus, we are planning other classes. Plus, my friend Charlotte and all of our other locals will be happy to know we did finally meet with the museum, and we have right now 3 temporary dates that we are planning to do in-person classes here in Paducah in 2024. So get ready, because we're making moves. My friends, it is always my time to say, if there's anything that you would like from our website, please do not forget we are a small business, and every time that you buy from us, you put food on our table, clothes on our backs, and a roof over our head. And I always appreciate each and every one of you. Take care of yourselves. I will see all of you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.